So what is going on, guys? It is Kieron the Barber, currently still in lockdown. Today we're doing a video on kids haircuts. I have a son, he hasn't had a haircut since the start of lockdown. So I plan to go over a real basic simple haircut for people who don't necessarily...
No, I saw a black though.
Means I was like in full swing then. Do you know when I'm talking to the camera, you can't talk? Right, shush. Okay, do you just look at the camera? Okay, so what is going on, everyone? It is Kieron the Barber, currently still in lockdown. We're about 6-7 weeks in now. I thought I would do a quick little video on my son's haircut. He hasn't had a haircut since lockdown, so I plan to give a basic haircut tutorial on people that don't really know how to cut hair, who want to cut their kids' hair at home. I'm going to do a real basic tutorial which I'm going to show all the equipment I've used, what equipment you will possibly need, the real basics. What I'll do is also I'll put everything that I use in the description down below, and I will go through how to use every single piece of equipment and why we use it, and why we need it, etc, etc. So yeah, that would be bloody fly. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy my video. What have you got to tell them? You've got to tell them to
subscribe.
To whose channel?
To Daddy.
What's Daddy's channel called?
Kieron the Barber.
That's it. And if you don't subscribe, you're going to make a little girl really unhappy, aren't they? You're going to cry if they don't subscribe. You're not going to cry. No. Alright, fair enough. See, blackmail, it doesn't work. And yeah, so what we plan to do is we plan to do that. Also, just very quickly, my daughter here, Amelia, bless her, she also wants to make a YouTube channel. Her channel will be called Amelia Price. She'll be doing lots of silly things, like painting my nails and doing hair and stuff like that. I might even let her have a go at cutting my hair. So we're going to create her channel. Her channel will also be in the description down below. If she could even get 10 subscribers from this, that would be absolutely brilliant, just to get a little channel started. What's your channel called?
Amelia Price.
Tell them.
Amelia Price.
And what they got to do, they've got to... What? They got to subscribe.
There we go.
They got to subscribe, yeah. So yeah, you make a little girl really happy if you could just go down and give her a subscribe. Yeah, you make her dreams. Alright, so from us, the prices, we shall see you very soon. Enjoy the video and have a great time. Go. So first things first, guys, is combs. You definitely need combs when you first start cutting hair. This is my setup. Trimmers. 100% you need trimmers. It doesn't matter where you get them from, you just need a smaller version of the big clipper. Trimmers really come in handy when you go around the ears and stuff like that. I will put a description in these. They're Babyliss. They're quite soft with children, that's why I use them on my children instead of the sharper ones. These are the Babyliss Pro. They're a standard clipper. They're quite cheap to get a hold of, I believe, but I will put in a different couple of ranges down below. But again, they're a standard clipper. They're my two sharper trimmers, which I don't really use, and the other Babyliss are just a different colour. If I run out of battery on one, I will use the other. The only difference. Clipper heads, and these are very important. You go from a half to a 1 to a 2 to a 3 to a 4, and up and onwards. We don't get to use the half or a 1 in this video, but what we do get to use is the 2. So we're just using a standard 2 today with a scissor cut over comb. Clips, massive essential, depending on how long your child's hair is. Scissors, obviously you need scissors. Well, I would advise, if you're not doing a shave all over, I would grab some cheap scissors. I will put some links in the description. Thinners, again, you can get a set of cheap thinners and scissors for less than £30 if you're just doing home haircuts. A water spray bottle is needed. I never bring one home, and I always forget that I need one. In your bag when you buy new clippers, you should have clipper oil. Oil your clippers before you go to cut any hair. Literally just dab it on, push it across and over, turn the clipper on, let it run for 5 seconds. Just make sure you've switched it in and out, it will soften it and it'll be easier on the child, it won't clog their hair or anything. Products, obviously we're in lockdown, but it doesn't matter. After a haircut, all kids want their hair to be spiked up or gelled, or so it's good to have. This is really good as well. You don't necessarily need it at home if you're just doing it on your kids, but if you are cutting more than one person's hair due to cross-contamination, that's my box of all my other crap and equipment and wires which you won't get to see or use. And that is my baby. I'll go through a description of my Dyson and why I love it later on in this video. But yeah, that's my setup. Oh, we cannot forget about this. This fade brush is one of the most important tools. It's for brushing off the hair, brushing down the hair so you can see where you're cutting. The fade brush is awesome. I'll again put a description in the link down below so you can use the fade brush. Right guys, now I think we're on to the haircut. What I didn't explain was the lever on the side. Lever on the side is really important, and the reason is because you can flick it up and down. Now, not many people would know this if you're just doing home haircuts, but if you push it down, it lifts the blade at the back up, which gives it a longer grade. You push it down, it gives it a shorter grade. So I always start with the blade up, so the lever's pushed down. So it's then a 2.5 instead of a 2. You notice the changing colour of clippers because I turned the gold ones on and I've pushed it down and then pushed it up, so I'm keeping it down. The gold ones are actually out of battery, which was completely my fault. Anyway, 2 types of haircuts. You can either come up and down or straight across. So you can even come up and around. Now on Riley's hair, you'll notice already that some of his hair is slightly lighter, than some of it looks thicker than other places. Unfortunately, that's just Riley's hair. He has a really soft version of alopecia where the hair doesn't actually fall out, but it's just finer in like certain areas. So you'll find that throughout this video that you might see certain areas that his hair, especially around the back, where actually it looks kind of not blended in, but that's just Riley's hair, and that's the way his hair's cut is. Usually what we do is we do a skin fade on Riley so it looks like the patches are gone, which he actually prefers. Now when we're coming up with the clippers, I'm going to show you 2 techniques, one on the side and one on the back. Now from the side, when you grab your clipper, you flick up and out. So as you come in, see just there, you're just coming up and out instead of coming in against the hair, coming up and out. That will make your haircut a million times easier to blend in. Now wet the hair down from the sides after you've removed that bulk with the number 2. Clear the fringe out of the way. An easy mistake to do is to comb that all the way like a middle part in and cut that fringe off, and then when you go to comb it forward, your child's lost all their fringe. So guard the fringe, pull the fringe forward first, and then push the hair down and across so it comes down into your blend. Now you can see that's slightly heavier. Now what I want to do right here is I want to take this up at a 90-degree angle. I'm showing you 2 different combs here because if I put in this black comb, you'll see that it struggles to see the black hair. If you put in the white comb, you can clearly see that I can clearly see the hair a lot easier, so I'm going to prefer to use the white comb. So depending on your child's hair is depending on the comb you should buy. Now I come in and I pull it out. As you can see, I'm pulling my comb outwards. I'm not coming in and then cutting it all off there. No, I'm coming up and out slightly. So bring it up, out and cut. Take as much time as you need, and constantly after every little bit that you cut, make sure you comb that down. So you're coming up, cut, up, cut. Remember, make sure it's at a 90-degree angle, and then just comb that back down. Now this might take you a while, and it might mean you have to come out at a slightly longer angle, just because you feel uncomfortable. I'd rather you do that and take your time, and just make sure, if you're struggling to find your 90-degree angle, what I suggest in some of my videos like the Barbering 101 is that you get your clipper and you get your comb and you run it up against the wall. Your hands will naturally find that 90-degree angle then. That's what I make all my apprentices do, is run the comb and the scissors against the wall. Now, on Riley's hair, what I would usually do with skin fade, I would go around the edges. But if you're doing a home haircut, just genuinely just stick to sideburns. Like, there's no need to go around the edges. Your child is going to be at home anyway. It's no issue. So what I do is I would take the sideburn to the middle of the ear. I wouldn't take it above his ear. That would look silly. So just the middle of the ear. And if you want, you can go a little bit higher from that, but I think that's absolutely fine. The middle of the ear, that's where I would suggest it to. Then combing down around the ear, just making sure you got that comb, pulling the ear down and then shaving it just round, keeping it as close as you can to the ear. And this is where the fade brush comes in handy, because it really combs them like niggly bits down, and it helps you really just get rid of that hair so much easier. And just shave, make sure you shave off the neck and stuff like that, it gets rid of it. Now what you'll see here with Riley's hair is you will start to see the patches in the back, bless him. But it's absolutely fine. Like he doesn't mind it. I don't mind it. So if you suffer from a V at the back of the hair, you can see Riley suffers from where both of his hair wants to push into the middle and then point down. There's a really simple trick, which actually I didn't even learn that long ago, with the V, and I'll show you in a second. It's a very simple technique, because you can see I'm struggling. So what I tend to do is I tend to pull the head to one side, so I'd get Riley to turn his head all the way to the left or the right, see which way it stretches better, and that stretches then completely out and it's in the open, so then you can just take that off, and it makes it so much easier. People get their clippers and they really dig in the child's hair, and you don't want to be doing that. Your child doesn't want to be brutally attacked with the clippers, and that is a really simple and gentle technique where you just ask them to move their head to the side. It stretches that part out completely and makes it a lot easier. Now what I've done is here with the clippers, I've left the line, so I've not actually blended that in, and this technique is just without, so I wouldn't blend in with the clippers to start. It's just a wedge line. Now what you do is you would take this process exactly the same. So still you can see there's a really heavy line going all the way across there. Now what I would do is I would lift it up at a 90-degree angle, take your time. You can see where it goes from short to long. You can see the long part just there. So you bring that up, find the long point, pull your comb out, do not go into the hair, and just slowly take that off. Now what I've done is I've actually made this harder for me, because what I would usually do is I would usually get the kitchen bar stool, or I would use the barber chair. He would come to the barber shop, but as we're at home and I'm trying to do a home haircut video, I thought, well, I'm going to just use literally what I've got in the kitchen. So Riley is currently sitting on our kitchen table. We have a bench and then 2 chairs. Now the chairs are too hard because obviously the back of the chair would get in the way, so I made Riley sit on the bench and I sat on one of the chairs. I don't cut hair sitting down. I find this really hard to do, so that's why you'll see at some points that I struggle to get the right angle, so I start cutting sideways, which you shouldn't really do. So I would say try and get your angles right as well. But yeah, it's tough cutting hair at home, especially when you haven't got the right equipment. I like being in my barbershop with the right lighting and everything like that. I think a really good thing is the lighting, especially in a barbershop where you've just got the right lighting, you've got the right setting, it's much easier. Now if you're finding that you've still got dark shadows, this is where the thinners come in really good. You can just pull the hair up and just give it a couple of snips with the thinners, and that should completely soften the haircut, and that should make it lay a lot flatter, a lot smarter, a lot smoother. Now at the back of the neck, as I say, that's why I brought trimmers, because if you're using clippers, they're more than likely going to cut the back of the neck. That's why I've got these really soft Babyliss Pro trimmers. They work a treat with children. They're very soft. They aren't I wouldn't use these on clients who want a really like bold skin fade or anything like that, because they don't get as short. But for children, it doesn't matter, because they're just so soft. Riley isn't even flinching, he isn't moving, which is brilliant. That's what you want, and they don't tiggle or anything like that. And another thing is for these Babyliss as well, is that they're really quiet. They're a really quiet trimmer. Riley suffers with noise sensitive issues, in a sense of, if we go to McDonald's or KFC and he needs a toilet, or we're out at Tesco's and he needs a toilet, he will not go to the toilet just in case they stick on the hand dryer. Hates the hand dryer. Will use 100 tissues before he ever uses the hand dryer, because the noise is so loud. So when I'm thinking of buying clippers or trimmers, I tend to go for the quieter ones. Just quickly with the skin toner, Maverick skin toner is so good for children who suffer with red necks or anything like that. If you've gone over the clippers and they get a red rash, the skin toner tends to, because it's got citrus in it, it takes away that redness straight away, pretty much. As you can even see that right there, just takes that redness away. It's brilliant. So sorry, going back to my clippers and noise. Noise is such a big thing in our house, with like loud noises. Both of my kids, Riley and Amelia, don't like loud noises. So yeah, try and find clippers that are more noise sensitive. You will find reviews on them. So I take off about an inch of Riley's hair, scissors straight across the fingers. I'll comb it to the right. I will take a centimetre section each time. Now if you look very carefully, if I pull that up again, you can see the hair that I've actually cut underneath it. So you could just pull that up to the hair that I've cut underneath it, and then carry on cutting it. Go right again, come up, and you'll constantly see that line, that guideline. I take very small sections, I don't take big sections at all. I think currently we're talking PlayStation, oh sorry, Xbox. It's always good to have your son or whoever you're cutting in the chair, especially at that age, indulged in either, I would say, an iPad or a book, or as Riley right now, he's Xbox. He doesn't care that I'm cutting his hair. He has no clue really that I'm cutting his hair. He doesn't mind it at all. But I know if that Xbox wasn't on, he'd be going ow, oh, ow, and actually it's not really hurting him, he's just can feel it because he's taking notice of it. But as he's concentrating so much on Xbox, it doesn't matter. So then you go from right to left, and because we have our guideline in already, it makes it so much easier. Now, what you don't want to do is, what I'm explaining here is, always bring that up still on your corners from left to right at a 90-degree angle. Do not round that off and go into the side. Now the reason why you don't go into the side straight away is because what you don't want to do is, if you go from into the side straight away when you start going from right to left, that automatically brings the hair in the middle a lot longer than them two side bits, and it makes it kind of a mohawk. Straight afterwards, I'll just go and I'll snip the corners right off the very ends. And repeat that exact same process over and over on both sides until it's completely done. Cutting on the top is actually a lot more simple than the whole grading and blending. So yeah, it's scissor cutting is easy as long as you know what you're doing and you go for a few scissor cutting videos on YouTube or stuff like that. Scissor cutting is quite simple. Scissor cutting the fringe is not so hard, not so easy, especially when it's a curly fringe like Riley's. his fringe is not the greatest, bless him. He's got a bit of a cow's lick and it curls, so we just take it a little bit by snippet by snippet, keep combing it down, seeing where it is, coming back over. I tend to go against the curls in the sense of just comb it down and then cut against the curls, because if you're cutting for the curls or the wave, then it just tends to just brush it across and you'll still find long bits. So whichever way the curls are going, or they're curling in, come away from them, and vice versa on both sides. See that little bit there? That is long, it needs to come off, so we're going to get that right off there, there's no problem. I think we are pretty much finished on the haircut. One other thing I would say, just while you guys are here, if you're feeling fancy, you can always cross-check it. That means going over it completely the opposite way and making sure it's nice and straight. That really reduces the amount of scissor marks you'll find in anyone's haircut. We all do this completely after we finished. Just making sure it's all cross-checked, it's all straight. Now onto them corners, as I was saying earlier. Pull out at a 90-degree angle at the side and just snip off them last little bits. Very, very small bits, not big at all. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to see a corner of the haircut and then completely take it off, and all of a sudden you're left with a big bulky bit on the top. It just looks silly, and that's like a 101 error of people when they start scissor cutting. They think that them corners need to come completely off, and actually they don't. It just needs to be more squared. Square is the way forward for this. So now onto styling Riley's hair. This is where it becomes slightly impossible. His hair does not style for love nor money. So luckily I have a bit of Maverick grooming cream. Now if you're new to products, especially for your child and stuff like that, wet his hair down, put a pre-product in, whether that be a gel or a mousse or anything like that. I tend to use the grooming cream. When it dries in quite tough, so it's a lot easier to style when you've got this pre-product in. So just massage that all in. Now my Dyson hairdryer. These are really expensive, and I know a lot of people can't afford them. I was very fortunate to be kind of gifted one, so I took full advantage of that. The Dyson hairdryer is so quiet. It's so quiet. Honestly, if you look on reviews on them, I literally have this on 1 power 1 heat, and it's doing the job. It's doing exactly what I want it to do. It's not blowing any hair, it's not taking ages and forever to dry. It's doing exactly what I need to do. But the main thing is, it's not annoying him. It's not annoying him at all. Not fazed by it, because it's really, really quiet. It's probably one of the best things I've had for kids. When kids come in, they're scared of noise, use the Dyson. Doesn't faze them. Maverick dry paste. Brilliant product. You need a 5p piece. Other products are available, obviously, especially if you can go to the supermarkets and stuff like that. Just buy like a really dry paste. But for me, this Maverick dry paste is the one. This is what I use on him all the time, especially when he goes out or goes to school and stuff like this. We put this one on. So there we have it. That is a really, really quick, simple tutorial. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to find a bigger comb, but I don't actually need one. I think I use my thing. There we go. Use the brush. Don't forget to brush all the hair off. And gowns are optional. Riley lets me put on a gown, but some kids don't like letting you put on gowns. so therefore don't worry about it. There's always a hoover. But yeah, you just comb that into place. This is our daily school routine. And he hates it, bless him. But he's used to it now. He's just accepted it as life, and that's that. So there we go, guys. This is the finished look. I'm going to show you around. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to cut his hair short, probably off camera, but comment if you'd like to see me film his hair for a skin fade, because I'll happily film his hair for a skin fade as well. But yeah, guys, I'm really glad you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe. Me and Amelia, this is, sorry, obviously narrated. Me and Amelia were talking on a YouTube channel. She wants to be called It's Mimi P. So if you search up It's Mimi P, you will find her on YouTube. Please give her a subscribe as well. And yeah, this is my son. As you can see, that just very quickly, you can see his patches on the side, just there around the ear and the sideburn. And then again, you can see there is 1, 2, 3 or 4 patches just on them side bits there. Bless him. But other than that, spot on haircut. Brilliant, looking smart, looking good, ready to stay indoors and play Xbox.